Oh yeah.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Inside Out Precision, and in today's video I'm going to be covering what a verifier versus a clarifier is in your peep sight. So this time of year we're setting up lots of bows for guys because our season starts in like 3 weeks here, the first early season for elk and deer. And we get a lot of guys that come in and maybe they haven't bow hunted in a few years. They might be getting a little bit older, or their eyesight's just going, and they say, hey, I want to go to a single pin sight because I can't see my pins anymore. The target is clear, but my pins are all blurry, and I just need that single pin, so that I don't get mixed up, or it's easier for them to center on the target. And we actually have a solution to that that doesn't require going to a single pin sight, and that is a verifier. So a verifier it's actually a little ground glass lens that will go into your peep sight. So you need a special peep housing for this. So Specialty Archery makes this particular one, and it's actually threaded on the inside there. And then the little ground lenses come on these little inserts right here, and will thread in and out of your peep sight. They make them in different powers, so starting with a 4 going up to a 9 in the Specialty Archery one. And what this is for is basically, it's like reading glasses for your pins. So the target should remain clear, or if you can see, if you're farsighted, so the target's clear but you can't see your pins, then a verifier is what you're going to need. Generally speaking, if you're on like a 1.5 reading glass, like readers, like 1.5 prescription, a number 4 or a number 5 generally fits the bill. What we do is we take out, like a 4 to a 6, and we'll start with a 4, then we'll move to a 5. If it gets better, then we'll try a 6. If it gets worse, then we'll go back to a 5. If a 6 is better than the 5, we'll try a 7, and if it gets worse, we'll go back to the 6. So you can kind of play around, and there is a trade-off. If you get the pins super crystal clear, sometimes it'll blur your target a little bit, almost, so much so that you might not want that clear of pins because you can't see what you're aiming at anymore. But generally, you can find that sweet spot where you can see your pins clearly. Your target is still clear enough to where you can easily aim at whatever you want to, whether it's a 3D animal or a real animal or a target. And it's really, really cool. They do cost a little more than a standard peep. The housing, we sell it for $38, and then the pardon me, the verifier itself is another $38. One thing I will say is that you really want to make sure that you carry the cleaning kit that they sell for this. There's a little anti-fogging thing, and you need to make a little kit that has your Q-tip and your little cloth, because in weather like here in Oregon in late season when it's 38 to 45 degrees, just the heat from your body, if you're carrying your bow real close, will fog up the lens in the peep. So you want your verifier. So you want to make sure you carry that little kit. It comes with a blank insert, so in worst case scenario, let's say you're out there and it's so foggy you can't see through it, you can just pull it out. It comes with this little plastic wrench in the kit there, so you're not going to damage your lens. So you can just pull it out, put it in the blank, and it's not ideal, but it's better than not being able to see at all. So verifiers are really cool if you're having trouble seeing your sight. These help a lot. Now, a clarifier is actually the opposite of what a verifier does. So a clarifier generally is what's going to be run with like a freestyle setup or a scope. It's going to make the target a lot clearer, but it's going to wash out your pin or the dot on your lens a little bit. Now, I don't know a lot of people that run a clarifier without a lens in their front housing. Generally speaking, if you're having trouble seeing the target, it's usually guys they wear contacts or they shoot with their glasses or whatever. But if you run a lens, generally speaking, every time you get over like a 4-power lens up front, your target's going to start getting pretty blurry. And in a game like 3D, where you need to be able to see those rings because that's you're aiming off just little blotches of color or an arrow hole, it's not a defined like white dot on a black face or a yellow dot. You need to be able to see the target clearly. So generally speaking, anything past a 4-power, guys are going to start running a clarifier, and they come in a 1-power, a 1.5, a 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5. The trick with that is that kind of the reverse of the verifier, where a verifier, if I get my pins too clear, the target gets blurry. This is the opposite. The target will get so clear that I can literally see every individual arrow hole on there, but then the pin just completely washes out. So some guys need to shoot a sight, like a little light on their sight, or you know, go to a bigger dot. So rather than having a real fine little black dot or a fine pin, they need to go to a bigger one so they can see it a little easier. You know, I personally run a 4-power lens in my outdoor. I run a 4-power for everything, and I don't shoot a clarifier. You know, the target is clear. It's not crystal clear, but I can easily see what I need to in order to shoot accurately. You know, if I shot a 6-power lens, I'd probably be shooting like a 1 or a 1.5 clarifier. And essentially what that does is it actually is going to demagnify your lens power slightly. So if I'm shooting a 1-power clarifier with a 6-power lens, I'm actually reducing the magnification of my front lens to about a 5-power, but it'll be a really clear 5-power. So you need to kind of play around. You know, if I want a super clear 6, I might need to shoot an 8-power, put a 2-power or a 2.5-power clarifier in it, and now I've got a crystal clear 6-power or 6.5-power. So, you know, you kind of got to play around with that. In terms of lens powers, you know, I can't shoot over 6. It magnifies the target. It also magnifies all your movement, and it just gives me target panic. So I like shooting, you know, anywhere from like a 4 to a 5. So that's the difference between a verifier and a clarifier. They're often confused to be the same thing, but they are in fact different. So again, if you're having issues seeing your pins, you want a verifier. If you have a scope and you're having trouble seeing the target clearly, but your pin is really clear, you want a clarifier. So I hope that answers some of your guys' questions. We had quite a few people reach out to us and say, hey, you know, what's the difference between, I can't see my target, what do I need? Like the verifier they put in at the shop doesn't work. And it's like, well, that's because you needed a clarifier, or vice versa. So it's a really cool thing. You know, it saves a lot of guys a lot of headache where they just think I have to quit archery hunting because I can't see anymore, or they want to spend, you know, $300 on a new sight, and really all they need to spend is like 75 bucks on a new peep sight. So really, really cool thing there. I will say, again, you know, whether it's a verifier or a clarifier, you need to keep your lens cleaning kit with you. The one time I shot a clarifier at Redding, if anybody's been to Redding, you know how hot and dusty it is there. And when dust gets on that verifier, if any glare, like if any sunlight makes it through that peep sight, it just completely washes out everything. You can't see it. So you have to carry that cleaning kit with you, whether it's a verifier or a clarifier. You need either a little like a Q-tip or something small and soft that you can get in there and clean it out with. I also would recommend always carrying that tool. You kind of got to make a little kit, because when you're shooting, sometimes those threads can start to work loose and you'll hear like a little buzzing when you shoot. It's like a zzz, zzz. And all you need to do is take that little plastic tool, re-cinch your insert into your peep, and you're good to go. So hopefully those tips help you out a little bit. If you have any more questions, as always, comment below. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It really, really helps us out. We've been having a lot of positive feedback lately. We want to keep that ball rolling. I love talking to you guys, so please feel free to reach out with any questions. Other than that, like always, keep it in the middle until next time. And remember, precision is a decision.